The entire East Coast of the country is blowing up right now. From Boston down to Miami, you're seeing double-digit increases in property values year over year, making this market a very competitive market, if not the most competitive real estate market in history. Today in this video, we're going to give you the strategies that we use to help our clients be successful when getting their offers submitted. The things, the nuts and bolts that you can do, action steps that you can take on your end to make your transition here to Maryland a smooth and successful one, not only with your move, but ultimately with the purchase of your home. Listen, we know that it can be downright scary, overwhelming, and a big unknown if you don't have the right steps in place. So with that said, we're going to get you prepared. We're going to give you 5 things that you must know before moving here to Maryland. So get your pen, get your paper ready. We're going to dive into this and we're getting after it right now. What is up, everyone? It's Adam Taylor with the Relentless Home Group right here in Maryland. Hey, if this is your first time to our channel and you're looking to learn all about living in Maryland, great news, you're in the right spot. We do videos talking about eating here, sleeping here, chilling here, and most importantly, getting out and enjoying everything Maryland's got to offer. So if that is the info that you're looking for, please consider hitting the subscribe button down below. Don't forget to give the little bell a click. That way you're alerted every time we put out another video just like this one. Now, right now, to be honest with you, we're receiving so many phone calls, texts, and emails from folks looking to move to Maryland from all over the world, and we absolutely love it. So if you're thinking about making a move, look, we just need one thing from you, and that's for you to reach out to us. So please give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, or fan us in with a smoke signal. Whatever you need to do, we got your back when moving here to Maryland. Now look, today we're jumping into the 5 things that you must know before moving to Maryland. Now, this is not like one of my videos in the past where we jump into the pros and cons of living here. This is an in-depth guide as to action steps that you can take and things that you can start doing right now. You see, we've helped so many people make this transition here to Maryland, and we've really refined and tweaked our process down to just a few easy steps. Now, look, we don't do all of that alone. We bring in our lending team and some other folks to help you out in this process. But these are the 5 things that you must know. And most importantly, this is stuff you can start working on right now before you're even in talks to make your move here to Maryland. So the first thing in reality that you want to do is create a list of must-haves and wants in a property. And what I mean by that is, look, no matter what, we've got 6 kids and we need 5 bedrooms. You have to have the non-negotiables set up front. Now, one thing Maryland is known for are the schools. I hear people, especially folks coming in from Johns Hopkins, shout out to Hopkins. I love you guys and I love working with all of you. But a lot of folks come here taking positions, and because they're working at Hopkins, education is super important to them, not only for themselves, but also for their children. And typically what they're looking for are the best schools. Look, hey, I don't want to live anywhere else but where the best schools are. Here, hate to break it to you, some of the best schools, they are located right outside of Washington, D.C., and you are going to be in one of the country's highest zip codes in the entire country if you're looking to move there. So really peel back that onion regarding schools. I'm not saying that schools are bad or good, just don't be unrealistic in your expectations with things. So let's go back to where we started here. Make a list of what must be in your new home. Bedrooms, baths. If you have allergies, look, hey, I don't want any carpet in the entire place, whatever that might be. If you're looking to move into Baltimore City, do you want to park behind your home, or is street parking okay? These are the sorts of things that you have to know and have to list out. Then I want you to jump on over and create a list of, hey, you know what? If we can get this, it'd be great. if we can get a finished basement, if we can get a swimming pool, if we can get a fenced-in yard, those sorts of things. And what it will allow us to do is really dive in and filter things so that we're not out there showing you 16, 17 or more homes. We're showing you 4 or 5, and we're making the decision that quickly, and we're going in and being as aggressive as possible. So the other thing that I need to tell you with this, I mentioned it in the very beginning, this is the hottest real estate market ever. Now, one thing I don't want you to do is settle. If you're gonna pay a premium right now and get into this real estate game at the moment, you need to get everything you want. Here's the way I want you to think about it. You're gonna marry this house, all right? You're going to walk down the aisle with your house, and just like when you're picking a spouse or a mate, you shouldn't settle. You should not settle when purchasing a home right now. I want you to get what you want, and we're here to make sure that happens. So if it's gotta have that extra bedroom, bath, finished basement, whatever it may be, you need to put it down as a must-have. Number 2, we're gonna take you back to elementary school, my friends, and you're gonna have to learn some real estate vocabulary. You've gotta learn the lingo that you need to speak right now in this particular market. You see, stuff is coming in every day. You're learning something new in real estate. And with that said, new terms are forming and becoming popular right now. You've got stuff going on with appraisals, you've got appraisal gaps, you've got contingencies, earnest money. What does it all mean? So let's break down a few of the key terms right now that you're going to hear that you need to become familiar with, so that when you get into this and you're looking to find the home, we're ready to go, and you and I can communicate on almost a level playing field because you've done some homework, you've gotten to learn what these terms mean. Now, right now, hey, when we go out to talk to somebody, we want them to be prepared when showing them a home to put a good size initial deposit down that goes along with your contract when we go to submit it to another agent, okay? And that deposit is called the earnest money deposit, or for short, EMD. And what this is, it's basically, usually what we like to collect is about 1% of the purchase price. So if you're purchasing a $500,000 house, be prepared to have $5,000 in a check or ready to be wired into the title company for the purchase of your new home. Now, this money is used to give to the seller's agent or title company, in this case, as collateral to basically accept your contract, meaning they're gonna hold, the independent title company is gonna hold this money in escrow while we get through mortgage financing, while we get through our inspection phase, all the way up until closing. Now, if you as the buyer decide, hey, you know what? You bail on this contract, well, guess what? That $5,000, or whatever that deposit might be, is probably going on over to the seller because you breached the contract. Now, here are some things that we're doing right now to make our offers a little bit more enticing. Number 1, you can submit a larger deposit, giving that seller more assurance. And times we've also had that deposit sent over that it's non-refundable. Hey, look, we know X, Y, and Z might be wrong with it. We're not gonna bail for any home inspection request, whatever it might be. We're gonna jump in and we're gonna put our money where our mouth is and make it non-refundable. Oh, by the way, if you need that, hey, go ahead and use it for moving expenses right now. Again, yeah, it may seem a little crazy to even mention that to you, but these are the things, quite frankly, that are happening right now. I mean, matter of fact, I heard of somebody actually giving a 2-week vacation at their property in Cancun to someone to use so that they could purchase their home. I'm telling you, this is what's going on. So let's go back to our vocabulary and what you need to learn. Next thing you want to learn about are contingencies. Now, contingencies can be for a variety of things. Most common are for the appraisal on the property or financing. Well, there's also contingencies on inspection results. There's contingencies on the review of condominium or homeowners association documentation. These are things that you as the buyer potentially could use to opt out of the contract with the seller. So when a contract is presented to the seller, they're going to want as few contingencies as possible. So as many of those that we can essentially cross off the list and give them some assurance, we want to do that up front. While we're talking about, I mentioned appraisals. Well, let's throw in there the biggest term that has come out of this entire housing market right now, and that's called the appraisal gap. Now, what is an appraisal gap? Essentially, here it is. You go in, make an offer to purchase a property, you're going in over asking price. So let's use our example of that $500,000 house that we talked about, and you want to go in and offer $525,000. Cool, that's great, all right? Know you're paying a premium and be okay with it. Now here is the deal. And anytime I have a listing and somebody submits an offer to me to present to the sellers, I'm asking them, how are you planning on making up the difference between our list price of $500 and your offer price of $525,000 should this property underappraise? And yes, my friends, they are underappraising. You'll hear countless people say, oh, everything's appraising these days. No, it's not. And if everything was appraising, appraisers would not have jobs anymore. And quite frankly, banks would be loaning money on assets and we'd be back in 2008. Nobody wants to go there. So you got to come up with a plan if you're going to go in over the asking price to fulfill that appraisal gap. Sometimes people say, hey, you know what? I'm going to write a check for cash and I'm going to make up the entire amount, 100%, $25,000 or whatever that number may be, in cash at settlement should it underappraise. Sometimes it's only a portion of it. I've seen, hey, I'll cover 5,000 of it or split the difference. Whatever that may be, you need to know. So again, study appraisal gaps and really hone in on what's meant and be prepared to have access to funds if you are going to go over list. And I hate to say it right now, and I'm going to tell you, pretty much all the offers that I'm writing these days are over the list price. And it's not because we're not negotiating hard for you. We are. It's just the reality of the market that we're in here in 2022. Some other terms. Let's talk about financing. Financing. You got your pre-approval letter. You're ready to move here to Maryland and you've done it all. You're coming to me, look, I got my letter. And it's with one of the big banks. Do you know how deflated we as real estate agents get when we hear the big banks? You know them all. They're all over America, or they've got a stagecoach. You know who I'm talking about, okay? The challenge is, and by the way, I used to work for many of these organizations when I was in the mortgage business years ago, so I know the inner workings of the companies. But what real estate agents are looking for, especially in this market right now, are local lenders. And we despise internet lenders because we never know and can build a relationship with a internet lender. It's just impossible. You don't know who you're going to deal with one day from the next. And then big banks are notorious for dragging out timelines and saying that there's some sort of delay. And guess what? Buyers and sellers are on timelines. Jobs are going to start whether your home sells or not. So our job as real estate agents is to make sure those deadlines are met and you're placed in the hands of somebody who's going to do an impeccable job with your financing. So we only work with local lenders here, and that's all we recommend. These are folks that are born, raised, lived, eat, sleep, breathe, everything Maryland, and they're right here. Because that local lender that we work with, chances are they probably have a relationship or have done business with the other agent on the other side. My friends, relationships matter, especially right now when trying to get your offer accepted. So yes, I'm glad you got your pre-approval completed. That sort of gives us a framework of what you're looking at, but I am going to suggest that you speak to one of our local lenders. There you go. Those are the few of the terms that you should know prior to making your move. Number 3, you're going to go on a strict budget diet. Yep, you heard me right. Yes, you are really going to tighten things up and look at your budget right now, because here's what I want you to do. I want you to start cutting costs. And why am I asking you to do this? Well, number 1, it's this. If you haven't noticed, interest rates, guess what's going on? They're going up. And you may think, and may have been pre-qualified from one of your internet lenders out there, that you can purchase, say, a $500,000 home. Well, that was also 2 months ago when interest rates were in the 3s, maybe even 4s. Guess where they're at right now, my friends? They're well into the 5s and approaching the 6s. And what's happening is your purchasing power is getting less and less and less. So we are going to have to back down your budget if you can't eliminate some debt that you may have. And for goodness sake, please don't incur any new debt. I'm going to tell you again, do not obtain any new debt. If your car is falling apart, put it back together. Figure out what you need to do to hold off until after you purchase your home to purchase another vehicle. The washing machine went up, go to the laundromat. You don't need to sell a home where you're at right now with a washing machine in it. People buy them without washing machines in it. I'm just saying, really try to minimize your expenses, and especially the expenses that appear out there on your credit report. Now, let's also look at some strategies there. Because rates are rising, you're going to qualify for less with your same debt load. Well, it might be cheaper and better for you if you actually pay some of that debt down. Now, here's a little trick. I'm going to give you a little mortgage knowledge that I learned back in the day. A lot of people may be tempted to pay the credit cards down, and don't get me wrong, I agree with you, and Dave Ramsey agrees with you. Get rid of the stinking credit card debt, right? It's awful. It's the highest interest rate. But the challenge you're going to face is this. Because credit card payments are calculated so low, meaning the minimum payments, you know how they take you like 35 years to pay off the balance that you have? Yeah, that's how banks make money. Well, you're not going to get as big a bang for your buck by paying down a credit card as you would be to either eliminate a student loan debt, eliminate a car payment, an RV payments. Things that have a fixed ending on them are going to give you the biggest bang for your buck. So look at paying off auto loan, motorcycle loan, student loan, home equity loan, whatever it may be. That way you're going to make a bigger impact and move the needle even more and be able to qualify for even larger loan amount if needed with increasing interest rates. All right, I know you're gonna say, hey, you've said this already, and this will be the third time you're saying it, but it is number 4 on my list because it is that important. It is to connect with a local lender here in Maryland. Now, why am I saying this? Number 1, again, it goes back to relationships. The lenders that we partner with and work with day in and day out, they're not just working with us, they're working with hundreds of other real estate agents across the entire state. And naturally, many of us flow and use the same lenders, and they're gonna know, the lender's gonna know myself or somebody on my team or someone else on the other side, meaning the other agent that may be involved from another company or our company even. And that relationship that they have is gonna give them the assurance that they need to communicate with their client that we're submitting a valid offer on your behalf and it's strong, and they've had that financing discussion with the lender so that they can communicate that back effectively to their client. So that is reason 1 why to work with a local lender. The second reason is this. you may actually qualify for some incentives here in the state of Maryland, and you have to work with certain lenders in order to qualify for those incentives, and more importantly, lenders that actually work in those programs day in and day out to get you those incentives. The biggest incentive that my team and I use is the Maryland Mortgage Program. Now, many of you may have seen the video that I did with Jeff over at Main Street Home Loans. If you haven't, I'm gonna put it right up here. Check it out when you finish this video. But the Maryland Mortgage Program essentially gives you some money to use for the purchase and or down payment of your new home. It'll help out with closing costs, all that stuff. And Jeff does a wonderful job of breaking that down. So make sure you check it out. Now, here's the deal with that though. And the update that I'm gonna drop right here for you. The Maryland Mortgage Program has come out with an enhancement where they're gonna give you additional money to help out with your closing costs above and beyond what they have previously. So with that said, you need to work with somebody who knows this product inside and out. And that's why we align ourselves with Jeff. He does a phenomenal job and knows that program in his sleep. And I would bet money on it that he would run circles around anybody else in the entire state with his knowledge on the Maryland Mortgage Program. So again, look, we're not trying to say, hey, you have to use our guy. You can use whomever you want. Our job is to deliver your offer to the other agent as strong as possible. And these are the steps that we've seen work time and time again to getting our offers accepted. Number 5, and probably the most important item on our list right here, is you gotta have a budget. When you started out your home search, you probably said, hey, look, let's get that $500,000 house, that $500,000 house. Boom, that's where we're set. We're gonna set it from $475,000 to $525,000 in hopes that we can find a home right at $500,000. Well, look, I just told you that interest rates are going up super quick. And each and every day, rates are changing. I'm telling you, this is very, very similar to what we would see in the years of 2008 to 2010, when banks were closing their doors left and right, and it was just madness in the mortgage industry. That's what's going on right now. And you really have to be tight on your numbers. You gotta know your numbers and you've gotta know your limits. So as rates go up, just know that you're gonna qualify for less and less and less. Now, is it gonna be drastic? No, they're talking about it taking, who knows, probably till the end of the year before rates get in the 6 range. But again, I don't have my crystal ball. It's been lent out. Sorry, I can't look into the future for you, but I can look at my previous experiences over the years and what I've seen happen. So you got to get your documents together for the lender, and you've got to get your pay stubs, your bank statements. You've got to get your full tax return, your full federal tax return. They don't care anything about, what the state that you live in. They only need your federal returns, but they have to be filed. Oh, by the way, here we are in the end of April. If you haven't filed your taxes because you requested an extension, look, I'm gonna tell you right now, get your taxes done because they need your tax information. And yes, even if you're a W-2 employee, more than likely, they're gonna want a copy of your tax return. So get that done, get that information uploaded to them in their hands in one way, shape, or form. Get them your most accurate bank statements, investment account statements. This is important for the appraisal gap. If you need to break the glass and get some cash out of your, 401k, IRA, and God forbid, I don't want you to do that. I only want you to use the disposable cash that you have, but you need to know how you can get cash if it came down to it, okay? And by providing the documentation, the exact documentation that they're looking for, it's gonna prepare you for success. So in reality, have the conversations, have a fluid conversation. You know what? Look, I'm starting a new job. This is when I'm gonna start. This is what I'm gonna make. Here's my offer letter. Get all this stuff in front of them, because Some of you are business owners and you know the revenue that you earn, but what is the profit that you earn? Oh, by the way, did you depreciate a bunch of stuff? Well, yes, and it reduced your taxable income, but the good news is you might be able to, more than likely, if you qualify, add some of that depreciation back in to boost your income on up. And again, this is why it's so imperative to work with a local lender and really dial this stuff in and have these conversations, make sure they've got those documents, because here's how I want it to flow for you. I want it to flow like this. We have a conversation, we bring our lender on via Zoom. We do this all the time. He gives you X, Y, and Z that you need to work on. I'm gonna look for your needs and wants, just like we talked about in the beginning of the video. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna hunt. We're in these houses each and every day, and I know of houses coming on the market that aren't on the market yet that you may like. So it's really imperative that we get that wish list and must-haves and wants in a property. We see the home, we find the home that you want, and you say, hey, this is it. And I'm gonna look at you, I'm gonna say, all right, we're going all in on this. We're pushing all the chips in and we're gonna put our best offer forward here. Now, one word that has escaped the vocabulary, at least here in Maryland, is the word escalation clause. This was done back in the day when you would say you'll pay $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 more than the highest offer. Look, agents aren't playing that game and neither are sellers, and that game is over. It is ceased, it doesn't exist, and you gotta come in with your strongest offer right up front and just lay it all out on the table. And most of the time, here's the other thing, they're setting deadlines, offer deadlines. Hey, when must our offer be in to you? Here's the deal. Sometimes agents will get offers in, they'll present them right away, and the sellers will just accept it. And though that deadline was out there and you planned on getting it submitted, guess what? They accepted another offer. It happens. So we go all in, and it's sort of like a fire drill. But good news, I was a former firefighter at one point, and I got you back, and we'll get your offer submitted, and ultimately you moving into the house that you want right here in Maryland. So there you go. Look, 5 things you gotta do before making a move here to Maryland. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, my team and I, hey, we want to help you in your transition here to Maryland, but we need one thing for you, because we don't know who you are. We need you to reach out to us and contact us. So please, like I said, give us a call, shoot us a text message, send us email, whatever you need to do. We got your back when moving here to Maryland. From Baltimore down the bay to the beaches in Ocean City, Maryland, we got you covered. Until the next video, I will catch you later, my friends. Take care.